Building a spacecraft takes just about everything technical in the encyclopedia. You have to build a little microcosm out there, and everything that it takes to be a functioning human being on the ground, you have to replicate out there. When you decide to do it internationally, then it truly does become a representation of the Earth from which we come. And so we bring all of our problems, requiring all the solutions with us. Whether it's environmental or food or political or financial, we all have to face it. So this becomes a little laboratory, a testing ground where we can do that.
I think the benefits of working together internationally are that we bring together the advantages, the pluses of all the various nations, and we together are bigger than we are as the sum of individuals.
60 years ago, people in Europe were fighting one another. Now they're working together, working on spacecraft and space stations. 2 decades ago, the Cold War was still going on, and here we are working with the Russians, the Americans, the Japanese, the Europeans, everybody working together, and it seems that it's a far better thing to be doing than we were doing 60 years ago.
At some point in time, we were enemies, but with this great project, it was possible to bring all of those people together and not speak the same language, but basically speak the same language of space, so we can have the same goal and the same objective.
It involves so many different cultures, not just people culture, but space cultures, and they're all very different. And so the biggest challenge is getting everybody to appreciate and understand how these all work together. Technically, we're all very smart people. You know, physics is physics, and we're going to solve problems. But getting everybody to overcome the boundaries of the cultures, both people and space cultures, is a big challenge.
It's a challenge for humanity, not just for 15 nations. I think it's the sum of the work of all humanity working together that made it possible to achieve such a project. The sum of our knowledge, scientific and technical knowledge, was required to achieve that project.
Well, for the European Space Agency, working internationally is our way of doing business anyway. We have 17 member states, and we're used to the idea of cooperating. It's our modus operandi. But extending that to working with the Americans, the Canadians, the Japanese, and the Russians is that much bigger a challenge, of course, and that much bigger of an opportunity. It gives us the chance to do programs that we couldn't do all by ourselves, and it gives us the chance to learn how different people work, how different cultures work together, and how we can cooperate and produce something as magnificent as the ISS.
The beginning of space station. The FGB was a signature element almost of this international cooperation. It was a Russian-built module, but it was built for the U.S. It was launched in Kazakhstan. So just to begin with, that one module was an international module before it ever got to orbit. It was an international effort.
Нам никуда не деться от того, чтобы делать крупные проекты, потому что чем больше, чем крупнее проект, чем более
Well, it is our destiny to do big projects, because the bigger the challenge and the more complex the integration of hardware, the more we'll need specialists in many different fields. Those specialists will come from many different countries. In the future, we'll need to integrate together people from different disciplines in different countries. Otherwise, we'll be doomed to work only on simple basic issues.
Поэтому, да, какие-то элементы могут делаться независимо, но все-таки.
It's always difficult to work with a big team because everybody has a unique perspective, a unique way of doing business, a unique way of working. We all bring different capabilities, different views. And it's not different than any other big team project where you have thousands and thousands of people working together. We all have to learn that we have specific things to bring in the project, that we're bringing unique capabilities and expertise.
Such a big project as the ISS because of high technology requirement and also for the large amount of money to develop and operate the station. I believe that only one country is not enough to build and operate the station.
No country has the political will to really push the exploration the way it needs to be pushed. It would take a tremendous amount of effort for any one country to go forward and to push in these areas and to do exploration to the moon and Mars, or to even do space station. It would be impossible for any single country to do what we're doing here on space station. But as a team, we have to give up a little something. We have to give up some of our own nationalistic interests a little bit, but we're pulling for a higher good, and that higher good is to learn to explore, to learn to push frontiers, to learn to move out, and that's really what cooperation brings us. And I can't think of a better example than space station when you look forward.
One of the great positives has been the way that we have been able to work together in times of great difficulty.
There are implications much broader than the International Space Station. When you ask a question about the challenges associated with that and the benefits associated with that, if you reach to the very basic answer to that question, to me it's as simple as when countries learn to work together, it's like working together with your friends, working together with your co-workers at work.
I believe that the level of mutual understanding, of trust, was impacted dramatically. It improved in leaps and bounds.
К концу подготовки мне мои члены экипажа говорили, что еще до того.
At the end of the training, my crew members were telling me that they knew what I was going to say even before I had finished speaking, because we had such a good level of understanding. It didn't matter whether I was speaking Russian or English. We just understood each other. We understood each other even better than we understood our managers, because we as crewmates were facing the same challenges, the same difficulties, the same problems, and we were looking at things from the same perspective.
I think the enthusiasm generated by this combined effort of so many different nations at the operational level is one of the things that can send chills up your spine.
Today, when I think of the ISS, what really waters my eyes is really amazing to me and exciting to me is the international cooperation and the level of the international cooperation.
Those nights when I get to go out and watch the space station fly over, I'm very proud of the accomplishment not only of this country and this agency, but of all the countries that's participated, because it is such a basic achievement to our survival of the human species in the future.
This is really the key to the future, to learn how to operate internationally, to make those trades, to make those decisions, to do the best thing, not just for one country, but for the overall good of all the partners that are participating. That will be the real challenge as we move forward to more dynamic and more challenging environments, even beyond space station.
One of the things I love about coming to work here is that I will have the opportunity to greet people in several different languages during the day. You don't necessarily know when you go to the coffee pot if you'll be hearing English, French, Italian, German, Russian, and Japanese. It's all spoken here, and it's almost like a little United Nations. Starfleet Academy comes to mind. The sense that this is a united project where it doesn't really matter about your cultural origins. This is something fundamental to the species.